Well, hello again, everybody out there in YouTube land. Boyd here with you again, and welcome back to TrekWorks. We've got an exciting show for you today. We're going to be doing some more work on our bench today on the TOS 1350 Enterprise, and I'm building up for my client Wes. I'm just about to get started on the shuttle bay and building up the shuttle itself, guys, so we're going to take you through that step by step. Today we're going to be working on some photo etch details and some decal work on that, so I hope you'll find that interesting. And I wanted to say that later on, in the next couple of days, we're going to be also starting on this Mobius flying sub kit that you guys have seen me talking about, from Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. I've been looking forward to getting started on this one for quite a while. I've been gathering up parts, the photo etch parts and some electronics to do some custom lighting on it. So we'll take you through that whole video build series as well. And we've got some other Trek kits coming down the road here for you really soon. So it's going to be really exciting and busy around here, guys. I wanted to take a quick time out and thank everybody. I noticed on the channel the other day that we reached 4,000 subscribers. And I'm amazed and overwhelmed at that, guys. I really appreciate it. We've been here just barely 2 years, and it's been really successful, and I really appreciate it. And I've met a lot of great modeling friends along the way through the YouTube community and some of the other forums, such as Sci-Fi Model Action and some of the other ones that I'm a part of. And I really appreciate it, guys. It's been great. So we're going to get ready on the bench here today, guys, and I just wanted to mention one more thing, that we've been doing the Google Plus Hangouts, the live Hangouts on Mondays and Thursdays. And I've been getting quite a few questions written in about how you take part in that. And it's pretty simple, guys. You just go over to my TrekWorks Google Plus page and click the following button, and I'll see that you're on there, and I'll add you to the circle. And when we get ready to do announce our Hangouts each week, you'll get an invitation. And when we start the Hangout at 8 o'clock Central Time on Monday and Thursday nights, you'll see an invite button, and you'll be able to click and join in and hop on our panel with us. We really like to see you there. We're all having a lot of fun with it. So again, thanks again, everybody, for checking us out on the channel here. Really appreciate the support. And the channel's going really strong, and we've got a lot more coming down the road for you. And we're going to be awful busy on the bench, guys. So, all right, guys, it's time to get busy here. Let's get the camera set up and get down to the modeling action. We'll see you back in just a couple seconds, guys. Be right back. Okay, everybody, so here we are. We're set up on the bench now and ready to go. And the first thing that I'm going to be doing here is applying some decals on this. Now, I've got the floor of the shuttle bay all ready to go. It's all been sanded down nice and smooth. And I've been soaking these decals a little bit. And what I like to do with my decals is just dip them in the water and pull them out and let them sit on one of these towels like this, so that the decals don't actually wind up lifting off of the paper while they're in there soaking. And you'll find that that works pretty well. I'm going to also dip this part here in water so we get a nice coating on that, and that'll allow me to slide that around really nice and easy on there once we apply the decal here. I'm just checking this really quick to make sure it's breaking loose. It looks like it's starting to come loose. We've also got these smaller decals here which go on the sides of the shuttle bay walls for some of the door entrance ways. And we'll let that soak just another minute here. You can see the little numbers on there are starting to break loose, so it's getting ready. Here we've got a couple little photo etch parts, which are some of the window frames that go on the sides of the shuttle bay walls, and here at the rear. This particular part here, I've already installed the upper grid work there, which is a photo etch part. That's all been painted and everything. We're not going to really be doing much with that, but I just thought I'd show it here as part of the assembly. So let's check this decal again one more time and make sure it's getting close to being ready to go here. There we go, we're starting to see it slide. Just another quick dip with the water here. And it looks like it's moving along pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and apply this onto the floor now. And notice when we apply the decals there that we lay the sheet down and pull it off parallel with that instead of having it tipped at an angle. That lets it just slide right off the sheet, right onto the surface that you want to put it on. That gives you less chance of ripping it or having a wrinkle or something like that up here. Now I keep these little paper towels handy. As soon as I get the decal close to where I think it's positioned in the right place, I'll just start slowly tamping it down here and getting the excess water off of that. And we're just kind of looking to make sure it's still sitting right. Before we get it too dry, we want to make sure it's in the right position, because it will move a little bit when you're going to do this little step here. And we're also just checking it to make sure there's no wrinkles or big air bubbles, and we're just kind of pushing those out. That's looking really good. So I'm just going to take this and set this off to the side now. Now you don't want to put any kind of a top coat or sealer on this. I won't anyway, unless for a good hour or two of drying, because the decal might appear dry, but if you spray some of your top coat sealer, like your Tester's dull coat or your gloss coat or whatever you're going to use, that tends to shrink just a little bit when it dries. So if this is not completely dry and bonded down, it can cause some lifting or crinkling of the decal, so we don't want to have that happen. So we'll just set that off to the side now and let that wait a little while. Now we're going to go over to these smaller pieces here, which are the side walls of the shuttle bay, and we're going to work these decals off. Now here I'm going to just use a little toothpick. We're going to start off with this one here in the center, and you can see how easily that slides around with that toothpick, and we're going to keep it again close to the subject here and just move it off of one onto the other, trying to keep it all nice and flat. And I'm just working this into place a little bit, and you can see we've got that laid down on there really nice. And we're going to come back over here and do this one on the side. If these start to grab on you just a little bit, just another quick dip in the water and they'll start to move. You see how much, I want to get these little numbers off of here so that they don't get stuck on there, but see how much easier that made that start to move around again. Okay, and we're down on our surface with that one. We're just going to work it into place here, being really gentle with it, not trying to go too much at a time here. Okay, I like how those are positioned, so I'm going to tamp them down a little bit again here with this towel. Get the excess water off of that. And you can see they're laying down on there nice and flat. No air bubbles or anything. This particular decal set that comes with this model is actually really good too. If you guys haven't built one of these yet, they lay down on there really nice. I've built, like I mentioned, 6 of these before, and I haven't had any trouble at all with any of the decals on them. So one of the better decal sheets that comes with a model kit. And let's go ahead and put this large one on again. Get a little bit of water over to it. Okay. If you have too much water there, the decal will tend to want to float and move around on top of the surface. So you just take your towel, just get rid of a little bit of that excess water, and it'll settle down really nice for you. All right, that's looking good. Okay, then we'll get this little door here on the end. Alright, we've got that one slid into place really nice. I need to come over just a little bit. Again, if you dry it and it gets a little stubborn on you, don't force it. Just keep dabbing water on it like I'm doing here, and it'll break loose for you, and you can slide it back over. You don't want to rip the decal. That's definitely something you don't want to do. This one's just being a little stubborn on me. There must be a little burr or something sticking up on the plastic that it keeps grabbing onto. Okay. I almost had it, and it just slipped a little bit on me there. Okay, I like where that one is sitting, so we're going to take this part as well and set it off to the side. And now we've got the rear bulkhead here, which is, this center section here has been painted on. They don't include a decal for that. Now there is a photo etch part that comes with the Paragraphics photo etch kit, but I'm not going to be using that on this one because I'm going to be doing something unique on this particular build. I'm going to be actually simulating that the Galileo is lifting off on this one. I like to do something different on every one of these builds, and for Wes here I'm going to be doing oops, I stuck that one on the wrong side while I was talking here. Let me slide that over, put it back onto the sheet. I'm going to be making the Galileo actually looking like it's lifting off of the floor. So in order to do that, I've got to drill a little small hole here and put a little connecting piece of hollow tubing that you won't be able to see once you're looking inside the shuttle bay. And that'll allow my wiring to run through that and into the Galileo itself. I'll be lighting the forward windows on the Galileo. And so that's going to be kind of unique. So I didn't want to have to drill through that brass. So we'll be doing that with just the plastic part here. That's pretty much covered up anyway once you install the Galileo in there. You can't really see it. Okay, we've got that one in place. Again, patience and not forcing these things is kind of the key, guys, to not ripping any of your decals. Okay, so I'm happy with how those are positioned. I'll tap them down here with the towel again one more time, make sure they don't move. And that's our decaling for our shuttle bay, guys. That's pretty much all there is for the decals on this. Now what I'm going to do is let these dry for a few minutes, as I mentioned, and we'll come back and we'll start doing our installation of our photo etch parts for the side walls and the rear window, which really makes this really come to life nicely and add some nice crisp detail to that. So we'll be back with that in just a few minutes, guys. So here we are back, everybody, and it's time to apply some photo etch parts on this now. I've allowed these to dry for about a half hour or so I wouldn't risk moving them around or damaging the decals by handling it. Now what I'm doing here, guys, is I've set up and I've put a little puddle of canopy glue on my little card here next to me here, and I'm going to be just using my little toothpick here and dabbing a little bit of this stuff on. We're going to put one on at the very end here where it attaches on both ends, and then one right in the center where there are no windows, and then we're going to lay this on here gently. Canopy glue works very well for gluing down these photo etch parts, and it does take a while for it to cure, guys. So once you've laid it down on there, and the other reason I like it is that once you put it down on there, you can it gives you a little bit of time to gently move it around and position it to exactly where you want it. And when it dries perfectly clear, so if it got over into these areas where there were a window or something like that, you're not going to notice that at all. And you can see how much nicer that detail looks once it's all put together. So we're just going to lay that off to the side and let that dry now. Again, mentioning that canopy glue takes quite a bit longer to set up than regular glue does, so we want to let that sit a good couple hours before we touch it again. And here we've got the rear bulkhead, which you're going to be doing the same thing. I'm just grabbing the photo etch part here and getting it ready. And we can see that we've got a center window section there and kind of two big open areas there at the end. So what we're going to just do is apply our canopy glue here to the outer edges. Kind of just move it around a little bit, make sure we don't get it on there too thick. Okay, and then this is ready to be placed. And again, I do like using this because it allows you to move it around a little bit before it starts to cure. And you can see that we do have a little bit of a gap on each edge here when this is centered. And the reason for that being, when you put the walls up tight against this, there's an overhang on the wall on each side that takes up that little gap right there, so it looks nice and centered there. So we're going to go ahead and set that off to the side as well. And we've finally got the last one here. Grab this little part. And we're going to apply the glue in the same areas that we did on the last side panel, which is a little spot here right in the center. And a little bit on each end. Now I'll point out on these particular parts that they're beveled a certain way so that they fit up against that little control broom that sticks out away from the wall there a little bit. So you want to make sure that you test fit these before you paint them and put them on. I'm just going to tap down on that just a little bit and use my toothpick to straighten it out just a little bit here. Okay, another nice installation with that. Looks like it might have dropped down just a little bit here. Let's move that back up just a little. Okay guys, that's it for that side. Again, if you see anything white on there, that's going to dry perfectly clear. That's what canopy glue is for. So that's that. Now mentioning this one here, guys, I already this is the ceiling panel where the lighting actually comes through. I've already installed that photo etch grill on that. And this particular piece here kind of fits in there with a pressure fit. You don't even really need to glue it. By the time you push it down in there, it kind of clamps itself into place and conforms to that curved ceiling. So we didn't use any glue on that. But that's it for our photo etch installation for the shuttle bay. We're going to let all this dry up, and then we're going to come back and we're going to drill a little hole here. I'll show you this piece once more. Just at the very top part of the garage door there, and that's where we'll install our little tube. And I have to kind of figure out how deep I want that to be, or how long I want that tube to be, so that we have the shuttle basically right in the center of the floor there, looking like it's a couple of millimeters off the ground there to make sure it looks like it's lifting off. And that tube I'll be using, I can run some magnet wire through that to get power to the, I'm going to actually mount an SMD inside of the shuttlecraft itself. So when we come back here, guys, I'll show you a little bit more on that. I'll be working on the side here, putting the shuttlecraft itself together and getting that painted and ready to go. And I'll show you a little bit of, at that time, how we install our lighting in that as well, guys. So we'll be back with that in just a few seconds here. Alright everybody, so here we are back with a little bit more for you, and we've been working on our secondary hull and our shuttle bay here, and I'll show you what I've been working on, guys. Let me start off by showing you what I've done here with my shuttle. I'll take the top off of this. This hasn't been glued yet, but what I did is I decided on this particular build that I wanted to have the shuttle floating in midair there like it's launching, like we talked about. So I used a little bit of a plastic hollow tubing there, and I ran my SMD through that and up into the middle of the shuttle, and I've got this all wired up, and it's ready to go here. So I'll turn the power on for you, put the lid back on this so you can see. Now the nice thing about this is that being that the shuttle bay is so narrow here that when you turn it to the angles or whatever, you can't see the tube holding up the shuttle from the back once it's installed inside the ship. So that's going to look really cool. And you can see I've got the little light there in the front to make it look like the front lights are on, coming from the windows there at the shuttle. And of course the whole inside of the bay itself will be lit up. I haven't light blocked this from the outside yet, so there's a little bit of light that's leaking around the edges, but you can see that turned out really well. Now in the next video that I do on this, before I put this in, I'm going to show you guys what I do to install the lighting. I'll be grinding some small little trenches in here along the sides to run my SMDs. There'll be an SMD located on each side, which lights the rear window section of the outside of the model, and our little green lights that I've installed. The green windows that you see at the very rear of the model, I've got those installed. And the rest of that will light the other windows in that group, and then we'll be doing one on the top here which will light the ceiling, and then the one at the rear here which will light the that 4-window group that you see at the very back, and that will accomplish our lighting in there. Then I'll be bringing one here an SMD up to the very rear, which serves to light a little bit of the green dome on the top and that little light that we see above the shuttle bay doors. So we'll cover that one in the next video. But let me go ahead and unplug this real quick, and I'll show you that on this particular model kit, like I was talking about earlier, you need to grind some material away at the rear here, and you can see it's basically centered around the edges of the wall where the shuttle bay butts up against it. Otherwise, it's just not going to fit, guys. You're going to wind up with a big gap. As I said, I've built 6 of these now, and it's been the same on every one. And so what I've done here is I put a little bit of squadron putty in here, because doing the grinding I kind of rough that up a little bit, and I'll sand that smooth before I seal this up and then repaint that inside area so we make sure that's light blocked. But I'll just lay the shuttle bay in here really quick for you, and we're going to put these two halves together really quick and show you that we got a really nice close fit on that. We've got that gap down to where it's pretty much at a minimum. And there's a certain little slot that this sits in. Just get exactly right and it will close right up. Takes a second to work this here. Get it in that little, there we go. Slid over on the one side. Now we just got to get these pins lined up. There we go. Okay. Now, you can see at the top here that what we've got is we've got a very, this looks wider in the picture than it actually is because there's not any paint on the edge there, but this is going to close up nice and tight, and that's we're just going to have to do some very minimal putty work there. Now, without doing that modification, that would be a huge gap. I mean, it's like a 1/16 of an inch or more until you do that. So, and on the bottom you can see it fits nice and tight all the way across. We won't have any problems at all with that. So, just a really minor modification to do to this. And as I said, I've got my, I've started to finish off the rest of the wiring in this. You can see I've got the ion pods lighting done there, and I've got the little green window section in the back. I did the, since the fit is so tight here, I wound up grinding down the back side of these window inserts to get those really thin as well, and I'll use those. But on these other little round ones here, I'm just going to use my micro crystal clear or my canopy glue when I finish this up and fill those in at the very end, and they'll look perfect. And we're not going to worry about using the rest of that window insert in there because we kept this at a minimum, and that allows this whole thing to fit a lot better. Even just by adding the window insert in here, guys, it adds a big gap to that. That's how closely it fits, because the shuttle bay wall is literally butted right up against the inside wall of this thing. There is no room to spare, as you can kind of see in this shot here. And so I'll be smoothing this out, and we'll be painting that upper edge there black, and then of course adding the upper lighting there. And we've got to put an SMD here in the bottom, which will light up our approach lights here at the fan tail. And we'll take you all through that on the next video. So that's how she's coming along so far, guys. Thanks for checking it out this time. And we'll be back again real shortly for another update. And until we see you next time, everybody, happy modeling.